Okay, so as you know, so we are going to discuss about Azure Admin Plus DevOps. Okay, so first of all, if you go for Azure or maybe some AWS or GCP service now, so we are having some different cloud vendors. Okay, so Microsoft Azure is from Microsoft, AWS from Amazon, GCP from Google, and ServiceNow is from again ServiceNow company. So like that, we're having so many cloud vendors in the market. Okay, but this Azure and AWS are currently so many companies they are using. Whatever the companies which are having. Okay, major players are simply we can say that major players are Azure and AWS. Okay, so now if you go for some Azure Azure point of view, so as I mentioned you, it is provided by Microsoft organization, Azure point of view. So before going for Azure, or what we can say that introduction to cloud computing. Okay, so introduction to cloud computing, or we can say that why we need to go for cloud. Okay, or otherwise before cloud computing. So what we're having exactly. Okay, so that thing today we're going to discuss. Today we're going to discuss about. So let us have some example. So if you want to host a website, okay. So basically, what are the things we require here? Apart from the domain name, so if you want to host some website, compulsory require some domain name, right? So apart from this domain name, so basically, what are the things we require? First of all, so as I mentioned you, if you want to host a website, means I need to place that website in some server first of all. Okay, so I need to place that website on some server. So compulsory we require some servers. Okay, so if you want to host a website, and whenever this if you observe so many websites, right? So let us go for maybe some amazon.in, right? So for that particular website, so do we have only some 10,000 visitors or some thousand visitors at for a particular day? Not at all, right? So whenever if you're keeping some offers, so definitely we're going to get huge number of customers. Okay, so simply we can say that traffic to a particular website is a not a constant. Okay, whenever if you're having some high traffic, definitely we require some more servers apart from the existing servers, we can say that, right? So and one more thing is, whenever already some clients is, let us assume that already your website is using by some clients. Okay, some different customers, instead of clients, some different customers. Let us go for some maybe some banking site which is used by n number of bank holders. Okay, n number of customers which is utilizing that respect to banking application. Okay, at some point of time, definitely that web application or maybe some app, okay, so definitely it is going to be under maintenance, or maybe some reason it is not working, right? So these things is going to happen generally. So that is nothing but just we need to monitor the website as well. Monitoring is also required. Okay, monitoring is also required, and maintenance of the servers is also required. Okay, these are the three things. As I mentioned, these are some important points which we require if you want to host a particular website. Okay, so what are the things required here? Basically, what are the things we require? First, we need to buy a group of servers. So definitely we need to invest huge amount of money. Second one, if you're having some high traffic, so more servers are required. Monitoring and maintenance of servers are required. Okay, so these are some important points. Some of you unmuted. Okay, these are the some important points if you want to host a particular website. Okay, what are the points? So we need to buy some group of servers. So if you're having some high traffic, we need to purchase some more servers. Monitoring and maintenance of servers or monitoring of the application is definitely required. Okay, so what are the disadvantages here? What are the disadvantages? Any of you? I find any disadvantages here?
Buying more servers and huge amount of money.
Okay, apart from that,
Monitoring also
monitoring
need.
basically monitoring need. Okay, so as you mentioned, first of all, servers and setup cost is high. Okay, so here first of all, server is nothing but a physical machine. It can be a laptop or desktop. Okay, so once if you purchase some laptop or desktop, so let us assume if you purchase some laptop, right? We can convert that laptop to a server by installing some extra softwares, more softwares on that particular laptop, so that it will laptop will be is going to act as a server. Server is nothing but a just it can be a laptop or a PC or a desktop. It can be anything, whatever thing which you are using, daily. Okay, so just we can convert to the server by installing more softwares on it. Basically, that is nothing but a server. Basically, okay. So let us assume the servers and setup cost is high. Okay, so why we are saying this specific point? Okay, so first of all, let us assume I have purchased some 20 laptops or 50 laptops. Let us assume maybe some 20 laptops are purchased. So first of all, I need to convert this laptop to server by installing more softwares, right? So is it? I mean, are we going to install all these things at a time? So definitely one person is not sufficient, right? So at a time we need to require some. We need to take some admin team, or we can say that. Uh, Administration team means simply we can say that we need to hire some network admin team. Exact point is network admin team. We need to hire more people. So in order to convert this laptop to server. Apart from that, first of all, I require some infrastructure or maybe some I require some internet, right? I need to purchase some huge amount of space as well, right? So many things is required. So that is the reason just I mentioned the servers and setup cost is very high. So this 20 just I purchase some 20 or 25, right? This 20 or 25 is not at all sufficient, because whenever if I getting some huge number of customers or huge amount of traffic to a particular website, definitely I need to scale up the servers. I need to increase the servers as well. So then only I can sustain in the market. Otherwise, if I'm simply making some 25 laptops or 25 servers, so it is not at all sufficient. At one point of time, I was unable to, I mean, site itself, I was not able to get in the respect to uh, internet facilities. Okay, so respect to things. It can be internet facilities means it can be a web browser, anything. Okay, we are not able to load a particular website itself. Okay, so that is the reason servers and setup cost is high. And what will be the second point? So here, as I mentioned you, so if you are not able to maintain huge amount of servers, right? So definitely, this network admin team, they don't know when this website is not serving, or website is what we call say what we can say that website is when the website is not working, or when the website is down. Okay, these things we are not able to know. Definitely, if you're not increase the amount of servers, so definitely the for any website, okay, for a particular website, so first of all, traffic to a particular website, or this is a not a constant. Today I have got only 1,000 visitors for my website. Tomorrow definitely maybe 2,000, sometimes even 1 lakh. So we need to we need to provide the response to the respect to customer, right? So that thing, it will not be happen if you're not scaling up the servers. Okay, and sometimes because of this servers issue, so definitely sometimes the site is going to be down, or we don't know exact where we have got the issue. So some web pages of the application may work and may not work, right? Maybe some if you are going for maybe some checkout button, right? So maybe at that point of time, that server, that website itself may be down. So many things is going to happen. So these things, what we can say, that troubleshooting problems. Okay, troubleshooting problems may conflict your business. So that is the second point. Troubleshooting problems may conflict your business. Okay, this is activity is going to maintain by network admin team. Okay, so one more important point is traffic to a particular website is a not a constant. Okay, so if you observe, especially some e-commerce sites, right? So every year, maybe some 2 to 3 times, they're going to announce some offers, right? So let us assume daily I'm getting only maybe some 10,000 visitors, or maybe some 1 lakh visitors, maybe some Amazon.in or Flipkart.com, right? But on particular that offers day, right? So definitely we're going to get lakhs of customers or millions of customers, we're going to get it, right? Even though I'm getting some millions of customers or maybe some billions of customers, so definitely Amazon.in need to handle that customers, need to provide this service, or need to offer this service. So need to purchase the different categories of products for that respective customers. So then only they can do a good business in that specific offer days, maybe some 3 days or 4 days, like that, right? So that is the best example. So traffic to a particular website is not at all constant, especially if you go for some e-commerce sites, even banking sites as well, right? So if you observe the banking sites, so definitely customers is going to increase. There is no chance of have a decrease in the customers, right? So if you observe, especially if you are if you go for any companies today's, right? Every a software company, everybody is holding some bank account. Means definitely the customers is going to increase. There is no chance of decrease in the customers, even though customers are increasing. So that respective website need to survive, right? So need to fulfill the request and as well as response what he is expecting. Let us assume if you go for, if you're purchasing some products in Amazon.in, right? So you can purchase some different categories of products, definitely, right? So whenever if you're purchasing some different categories, so definitely, so you need to go for some checkout option, or you can pay the some you can do the respective payment. So then only Amazon is going to get some business from you. So these things, so definitely these things should be happen. So that is the reason traffic to a particular website is not at all constant. So each and every website, sometimes it can be a low traffic, or sometimes it's going to be high traffic. There is no chance of having some constant traffic. Definitely each and every day customers is going to hit the respective particular website, right? So these things what we can call as a traffic to particular website is not a constant. So what is the fourth one? This is important point. Let's get it. Okay, so now if you go for maybe some Swiggy app. Okay, so let us assume you are customer from 2017 to till 2021. Still you are continuing as well. Okay, so from 2017, definitely you have purchased some orders. You have placed some orders of different categories, right? So it can be some breakfast, or it can be some meals, or it can be some tiffins, ice cream. So different things, right? So from 2017 to till 2021, right? So let us assume you have purchased some, you have ordered maybe around some 500 orders you place. Let us assume. Okay. This 500 orders history, right? 500 orders history, is it going to maintain Swiggy or not? Definitely, they're going to maintain. What are the orders you placed from at which location, which address, right? Every transaction they're going to maintain of a particular user. Okay, so let us assume I have ordered some 500 orders
హలో
still in this 5 year span of time, right? So definitely in this
ఇప్పుడు
5 year
20
span of
కొట్టినాను
time,
50 నెఫ్ట్ చేసినాను అది గంటన్నర పడుతుంది మీకు బ్యాంకులోకి వచ్చేకి అంటే లిమిట్ 20 నాకు నెఫ్ట్ చేస్తే 50 పైన ఉంది గంటన్నర అవుతుంది
so definitely uh, I need to maintain that these many number of orders history basically, right? So if you observe this number of orders history, so it's keep on increasing. There is no chance of decreasing the amount of orders which I placed on Swiggy. So again, this 2021 also. So definitely I'm going to place so many orders, right? So here, why I'm telling about this orders or this history or maybe some each and everything they're going to maintain. Not only Swiggy, any e-commerce platform like Zomato or even some Amazon, Flipkart. So whatever the orders you have purchased, is all orders they're going to maintain in your orders history. Okay. So what I mean to say is amount of a space for a particular website is also not a constant. Okay, so each and every year they need to maintain huge amount of space for a particular website. Okay, because whenever if you're purchasing so many orders or so many products for a particular sites, so definitely this orders histories is going to increase, as well as space for a particular website is also need to improve. So then only, so they can maintain all these transactions. Why they are maintaining? Because of this all these transactions or orders is, so on the data. So let us assume for Amazon.in have purchased some 1,000 products. On these 1,000 products, right, they're going to perform some analytics. Okay, that is the reason whenever if you go for Amazon.in, so in the below of the website you're getting some recommendations, right? So how we are going to get that recommendations here? Whatever the products you have purchased, so just they are going to analyze your behavior. So what type of orders you are purchasing, so based upon that they're going to provide you recommendations whenever if you're logging into Amazon.in. Okay, they are studying your behavior based upon your product's history or whatever the orders you have placed on the respect to e-commerce, so that they're going to provide some offers. So indirectly they're going to business, indirectly they're going to get huge amount of business. So not only single customer, for each and every customer they're going to maintain these orders, so that they're going to provide some recommendations. So at the same time, because of these recommendations, maybe they're going to get some business from this respect to whatever the customers in which they're having. Okay, simply we can say that on the purchased orders they're going to perform some analytics. That is a complete different thing. Okay, because of this reason they're going to maintain all this history of transactions or history of orders. These all these things they're going to maintain by any e-commerce site. Okay, so this amount of is a particular website is not a constant. Okay, example, any e-commerce site, maybe Amazon.in. So what is the conclusion from the above points? So in order to host for a particular website, so local systems and a bunch of servers are not enough. Okay, in order to host a particular website, local systems means whether your laptops or desktops or bunch of servers are not enough. In order to overcome the above limitations or disadvantages, we are moving to cloud or cloud computing. Okay, so that is the reason why we are moving for a cloud computing platform. Okay, so what is the conclusion here? In order to host for a particular website, local systems bunch of servers are not enough. In order to overcome the above limitations or disadvantages, we are moving to cloud or cloud computing. Okay, so this is the exact reason why we are moving to cloud computing. Okay, so now what is exactly cloud now? Cloud is having unlimited space or collection of collection of data centers. Cloud is having unlimited space or collection of data centers here. Is nothing but what is exactly cloud. So now here I have mentioned here keyword called as a data center. What is a data center? So instead of this data center, so here we're having some data. First of all, what is a data? Okay, so data is nothing but information. Simply we can say that data is nothing but a information. Okay, so nowadays we're getting huge amount of data. So it can be a various sources. Okay, if you go with some example, so indirectly, I mean humans itself, we are generating huge amount of data, knowingly or unknowingly, but we don't know exactly. Okay, so most of the humans don't know. So humans itself, we are generating huge amount of data on various sources. Example is WhatsApp. Okay, human only generating data, but we don't know. We are generating huge amount of data. So we are sending different types of images or maybe some family pictures or maybe some videos or some useful information, and we are sending daily so many messages. It can be a WhatsApp or different social networking sites, right? Humans only generating huge amount of data. That is the best example. And even if you're viewing some YouTube video, right? So that YouTube is that video is uploaded by some human, right? No, that is not uploaded by some different persons. Human only uploaded that video, right? If you are seeing any video on the YouTube, especially, right, that video is uploaded by some human only, right? So these are the best examples. Humans only generating huge amount of data. So by various platforms, like it can be a YouTube or so many social networking sites. so in which we are having, right? So this is nothing but what is exactly data. Indirectly, we are generating huge amount of data on daily basis by various sources like YouTube, Facebook, Gmail, Twitter, so many social networking sites today we have, right? So there is nothing but what is exactly data. So here data is nothing but information. Okay. So nowadays we are getting huge amount of data. So what are the various sources? As I mentioned you, so indirectly we are generating huge amount of data on daily basis by various sources like social networking platforms, YouTube, Gmail, so many things. All this information which we are seeing on different sources is nothing but data. Okay. So is it clear till now? If anybody is having any doubts, you can ask me now.
Uh, Shiva, this is Geeta.
Yes.
Actually, what exactly is the plan? Like, how many days you will go with Azure Admin and DevOps? Can you the content of what we?
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So now, as I mentioned you, so we're getting huge amount of data on daily basis. So indirectly, humans are generating huge amount of data, right, on different sources, right? So now the question is where we are storing this much amount of data. Now the question is where we are storing this much amount of data. Simply, we can say that the data we are storing on servers that is highly configured. Okay, so let us assume you're sending some message in WhatsApp. Okay, so around 7:30 am you have sent it, but it is delivered on maybe some 5 p.m. IST, right? So are you going to use the WhatsApp? Definitely you're not able to use, right? So definitely you will go to another social networking platform, right? Even whatever the images which you are sending, so definitely they are storing that images on some servers, then only they are displaying that respective data basically. So if you observe around 1 month you have sent some images to your different friends. So if you want to refer that image, so definitely whenever you scroll on WhatsApp, that image is displayed to you, right? So they are simply not deleting that messages or deleting that respective images or videos from WhatsApp organization, so nothing but a Facebook, right? So but whenever if you're sending some message, they are storing that respective message on server, immediately they are sending to another user. These things it is happening within fraction of seconds, but is not taking that much amount of time as well, right? So simply we can say that whatever the data in which you are sending or which you are sending to your different users, it can be any type of data. It can be a message or PDF or maybe some image, video or voice message, anything. So they are storing on the servers. Okay. So now the question is where we are storing this much amount of data. So this data is node on server. That is highly configured. So here highly configured means which operates 24/7, large amount of hard disk, large amount of RAM, firewall, some security concepts, so many things. Okay, so this is nothing but what is exactly server. Highly configured means so the server need to operate 24/7. It should have so much of amount of RAM, hard disk, some firewall, or what we can say that some extra security concepts which we need to implement for this respective server, right? So this is nothing but what is exactly server. So simply we can say that whatever the data which we are getting, so that data we are storing on server, that server should be a highly configured. Okay. So now a collection of these servers are known as racks. A collection of these racks are stored in a building or multiple buildings in which we are calling as a data center. A collection of data centers are known as cloud. So I mentioned a keyword called as a data center, right? This is nothing but what is exactly data center. So a collection of these servers are known as a racks. Okay, a collection of these racks are stored in a building or a multiple buildings in which we are calling as a data center. A collection of these data centers, right, are known as cloud. Okay, so now the question is, what is cloud computing then? Okay, what is cloud computing? What is cloud computing? So if you go for any application, right, what are the applications which you are accessing on daily basis? So definitely they are going to do three things or three tasks. One is storing the data and processing the data and accessing the data. Okay, so if you observe Gmail, whenever if you log into Gmail or whenever if you're giving some username and password, so definitely you're going to get some welcome page as an inbox, right? If you want to see the all these previous emails, so definitely they need to store this your emails data in some of the servers. Then only you can see that respect to previous emails. What are the emails which you want to know, right? So there is nothing but a storing, and as well as you're getting some inbox as a welcome page. There is nothing but a processing and accessing. So accessing the data means you can go for previous emails, or it can be some different images, so or maybe some attachments if you want to know. This is nothing but what we can say that accessing the data. Okay, storing, they're storing the same data, processing the data. So if you're sending some email to the end user to different users, right? So whenever if you're sending, there's nothing but what we can call as in processing the data, accessing the data. So you can see the previous emails or previous attachments or maybe some previous documents. You can see it within this Gmail. So this is nothing but a accessing the data. Any application, if you go for not only Gmail, if you go for any application, they're going to perform three tasks for the respective vendor. So here Gmail is from Google, right? Google is going to perform three major tasks. One is the storing the data, processing the data, and accessing the data. This is nothing but what is exactly cloud computing. Okay, so what is the first one? Storing the data, nothing but applications on remote servers. And one is processing the data, applications from servers. Third one is accessing the data, applications via internet. Without internet, we are not able to access any of these applications, whatever the applications which we are accessing. Okay, this is nothing but what is exactly cloud computing. Okay, so simply we can say that we can access the data from anywhere because of this cloud computing. Okay, so this is nothing but what is exactly cloud computing. So as I mentioned you, we are having some different cloud computing vendors, right? So like Azure, AWS, GCP, we're having so many cloud computing vendors, or simply we can say that cloud vendors. Out of that we are learning Azure, right? So now what is exactly Azure? So Azure is a cloud solutions. Okay, Azure is a cloud solution which provides lots of services and features to help your organization in almost all the way during the development of your product or a project. These are the what is exactly Azure. Okay, what is Azure? Azure is a cloud solution which provides lots of services and features to help your organization in almost all the way during the development of any product or project by providing multiple tools and technologies. Nothing but what is exactly Azure. What about Azure DevOps? Azure DevOps is a future or service of Azure. Okay. So if you go for so this is Azure or Azure Cloud or a cloud computing. Okay. So within this Azure Cloud Computing platform or Azure Cloud, right, we are having so many services. We are having so many services which is going to offer by Azure. Okay. So it can be some IoT service, or it can be some AI, or it can be some data, it can be some MySQL, or it can be some Power BI, or it can be some DevOps. Okay, so Azure Cloud, not only Azure Cloud, every cloud computing platforms, what are the cloud computing platforms which we are having? Every cloud computing platform is going to offer different services within the cloud. Okay, so like AI is one service, or machine learning, or artificial intelligence, data science, so many things which falls under AI. Okay, so Power BI, or maybe some Tableau, or maybe some any data visualization tool, not only Power BI, so many data visualization tools are there in the market, which is offered by Azure only. Okay, these are the n number of services which is going to provide by Azure Cloud Computing Platform. Okay, so out of these services, we are learning Azure DevOps as one of these service basically. Okay, Azure DevOps is a future or a service from Azure Cloud or Azure Cloud Computing Platform. Okay, any doubts till now? Any of you? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Please continue.
Hi Shiva, this is Mohammed.
Yes.
Shiva, security, for every cloud there is some security. Like how potential is the security for Azure? Like it is.
We can.
Hello.
Yes, tell me.
Yeah, the security is good for the Azure, or like how it is like same as the AWS.
Security means
Like
what is
see, if
exactly
you
that?
yeah, yeah. Like see, if we put some data from one application to another application from virtual VM to the cloud now, then the secure data will be handled by the Azure Cloud Safe, or like how it is. I hope you are
Same way,
getting my.
how the same way as you mentioned how AWS is handling, same way Azure is going to handle.
Achha, there is no
There is no
differentiate, right?
difference. There is no difference. So one point is, if you go for any cloud computing vendors, whether if you go for Azure or AWS, maybe some GCP, right? So what I
Yeah.
mean to say is, concepts are same. Okay, concepts
Okay.
or services, whatever the services which you are learning in even in Azure, the same thing is going to apply for AWS or even some GCP as well. But only one thing is, whatever the service in which you are creating in Azure cloud, right? So
Yeah.
that may be different in the AWS. So let us assume I'm creating some service. Okay, I'm creating some maybe I want to create some virtual machine. Okay, virtual machine is a service within the Azure cloud. Okay, let us assume I for creating the virtual machine, right? It may take some 8 steps in Azure. Let us assume. Okay,
Okay.
same thing it is going to happen in AWS. Maybe it will take some 10 steps. That is only
Okay.
difference, but the concept is same.
Achha, the process wise, if we go, then Azure is safe. Why? Because if 8 and 10 we compare, lesser than we can have in Azure, right?
Yes, everything
Achha,
is
achha.
same. If you go for Azure AWS, everything is same. Process wise, everything is same. But maybe AWS may be having some 10 steps to create some virtual machine, or maybe some Azure cloud is having some 8 steps. Okay, maybe graphical user interface point of view, Azure is very easy when compared to maybe AWS. So these things is going to come into picture. But services, what are the services in which you are learning in Azure? Same services is going to offer by AWS as well. Nothing difference.
Achha, achha, achha. Okay. 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 And one more thing, how can I ask?
Yes.
Yeah, like in AWS, we have Route 53 for DNS creation and all that. In Azure, what we have, like I don't have an idea on the Azure. Can you tell me that?
Root.
Route 53 we have in AWS to create the domain name server and connecting the network to the cloud. Okay.
Okay, means you are uh, domain name service. You're asking about?
Yes, correct.
Yes, domain name service. What is the thing? VWS, what you're
For
using?
Route 53 we are using, right? Route 53, S53 we are using, Route RT53 we are using to connect to the domain name server and all the terminology. Here also we have same name or different name? I just
No,
wanted
no.
to know that.
No. Names. That is the thing. Names are different. As I
Yeah.
mentioned,
Terminology is
process
different,
is
but the
same,
concept is
but
same.
terminology
Okay,
is
okay.
yes. Process is same, but terminology is going to be different.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's all from my end, Shiva. We can continue resuming the classes. Thank you.
So, what is the need of, or what is the reason to go for DevOps? Okay. So basically, if you go for any organizations or any companies, so our intention is to develop some application. So it can be a product or project. That is a secondary. So if you want to develop, so final intention is we want to develop some application which is going to accessed by, it can be that application, it can be accessed by client or maybe some different customers of different regions. It depends, right? But our end goal is, so we need to develop some application finally, right? So basically if you want to develop some application, even not only for now we have some DevOps, even for before DevOps as well, right? So we're having a life cycle called as an SDLC, software development life cycle, even before DevOps as well. Okay, before DevOps, what is the life cycle we're having? So many of persons there they will call as an SDLC, software development life cycle. Okay, so within this SDLC, we're having some different categories or different phases of the development life cycle or development life cycle of an application or a project. Okay, so as I mentioned you, we're having some HDLC, nothing but software development life cycle. So within this we're having some different categories as I mentioned you. So plan, code, build, test, deploy, operate, monitoring, so many things. Okay, so now if you go for these categories basically, so what is the first one? Plan, code, build and test, deploy, operate, monitor. So now if you go with this plan, right? So which teams is going to include? Business team, somebody they will call as a business analyst, okay? Or product one, planning part of your product. Okay. So this plan is nothing but, so initially, so they need to gather the requirements from the client. Okay, so whoever if somebody came to develop some application, right, first of all we need to gather the requirements. So what they're expecting, right? So all these things is going to done by business analyst team or respective product owner. They're going to gather all the requirements what they're expecting, right? So let us assume maybe they want to automate something. Okay, so they're already having some repetitive work. Okay, so this repetitive work just I want to automate. Let us assume I was a client to the respective company, maybe some A company. Okay, so my intention is, my goal is, right, I am already having some repetitive work which is done by some n number of uh, n number of teams or n number of people in my current company. So just I want to automate this process so that I can reduce my workforce. So that is my intention. Just I have given this project to the A company, that is Azure. So now this A company, right, so they need to gather all these requirements from me. Okay, so what I'm expecting exactly, how many number of different phases in my current project. Okay, so what is the each and everything, they're going to gather all these requirements from my end. Basically, that's nothing but what is exactly plan of a product or a plan of a project. So mostly in this phase, this business analyst or business team or product owners is going to include this phase. So once they have got all these respective requirements, right? So immediately they will not go for development. Okay, so they will divide this requirement into n number of phases. Okay, so like 1.0 version. So in this version we are providing these many number of features. 1.0.1, so in this phase these many number of features, or 1.0.2 these number of phases. So like this for each and every phase, right, they're going to provide the n number of features. Finally maybe some 1.05, so that respective phase is going to be what we can say that application, it can be, you can utilize, client is going to utilize that respective application. It can be a minimum requirements is satisfied, so that client is going to utilize that respective application. This is nothing but a plan. Okay, simply they're going to gather the requirements from the client. Okay, so once if they've got these requirements, as I mentioned you, it will divide that respective requirements into a n number of tasks. So this again is going to done by higher management, maybe some project manager, project architects, and these project architects or senior managers, they're going to design some architecture for that respective application. Okay, what are the technologies which we need to include, right? So out of these requirements belong to maybe some database team, or these requirements belongs to maybe some analytics team, these requirements belongs to maybe some development team, these requirements maybe belongs to some UI team. So these segregation is going to take place by from higher managements. Okay, once these segregations is done, or once this project architect, right, project architect means, so they're going to design some project, some architecture for that respective project. What are the technologies which we need to take, which tech we, or do we require some more technologies, or do we require some latest technologies, maybe some machine learning or maybe some IoT. So these things, this m number of discussion is going to be happen on the higher management level. So once these things is done, right, now these requirements, whatever these requirements, as I mentioned, it is divided into n number of tasks, right? These tasks allegations is going to, this tasks segregations is going to be done to the project lead, from this project lead to team leads, from team leads to senior developers to developers. So these number of phases is going to be taken place. Once these requirements gone to the developer, so developer is going to do the code. Okay, they're going to develop some code based upon the task or based upon the requirement, and they're going to build means, so in this phase they're not able to get any errors or any issues, so that this build is going to be success, and they will perform some minimum testing. Okay, minimum test. Let us assume maybe your requirement is just I'm giving some fields from front end. Okay, let us assume maybe some same as Gmail. Okay, just I'm giving some username password. Once if I click on the submit or a save button, so I need to get some inbox, Gmail inbox as a welcome base. That is my requirement. That is the issue. Okay, whether this requirement is satisfied or not. Okay, just I'm giving username password. I'm getting some welcome base as a inbox as a welcome base for Gmail. Okay, my requirement, my task is done. But this is a simple testing. But if you go for, if the same application is going to done by some testers or uh, different types of testings. Okay, so they're going to check the same task on different browsers. Okay, maybe this task is going to work on maybe some Mozilla, but it may not work on IE. Okay, maybe some look and feel or sometimes save button is in Mozilla it is displayed on center, but in maybe IE at maybe some left side or maybe some Opera at right side. So this UI issues is going to come into picture. So this type of testing it is not done by developer. This type of testing is going to done by testers. We're having a separate team for that, right? So like this come into picture. So now if you go for this code build test, so which is this development team will come into picture. Development team. So here developers and testers are also included. And what is the one more phase? Deploy, operate, and monitor. Basically, these are the nothing but a operations team. Okay. So basically, to deploy product code on server. To deploy product code on server. Okay, so here product code on server means basically if you observe any application, so any application falls under different environments. Okay, like development environment, testing environment, integration environment, pre-production environment, production environment. Like that, we're having so many phases will be there basically for any application. Okay, so basically this development environment, testers environment, so developers or testers they can deploy their own code and they can test the application as well. But if you go for integration, pre-production or production environment, so where developer was unable to deploy their code on these servers, where operations team is going to come into picture. So this operations team is going to deploy this application on maybe some integration or pre-production or maybe some production environments here. Okay, where that operations teams come into picture. Okay, so is it fine till now? Any doubts here? Any of you? Any doubts?